Hey guys, today I'm going to be talking to you about my radiotherapy experience, and I'm also going to give you some tips on how to cope with radiotherapy. Some of these tips are mainly geared at people who are having pelvic radiotherapy like me, but there's some for people who are having any type of radiotherapy, so make sure you keep in tune for them as well. So let's just get into the video. So I'm going to start off by saying that I hated radiotherapy. Radiotherapy was so tough for me. The side effects were just horrendous, and I had really bad anxiety as well, so it just made it even worse, and it was definitely the toughest part of my battle so far, and I just didn't like it. It was just not fun at all, and obviously people have different experiences to it. Because mine was based around my intestines, I got quite bad side effects because the intestines do not like to be messed around with. And yeah, so it's totally different for everyone, but personally for me, I just hated it. It was horrible. I had to have radiotherapy because I was diagnosed with stage 4 alveolar rhabdomyosarcoma, which is a rare and aggressive childhood cancer, and for that cancer it's imperative that I got radiotherapy because it decreases the chances of my cancer coming back. So I had 28 sessions of radiotherapy, and they were for 5 days each week. So some of the side effects that I experienced was extreme tiredness. By about week 2, I was just tired all the time. I was exhausted, had no energy to do anything, and this made me get a bit down, and I was just spending all day in bed and having numerous naps a day. I also had really bad burns. I had them all over my bum cheeks, and they were really painful, and the burns also made weeing really painful, and it really hurt so bad. Also, one of the side effects was uncontrollable diarrhea. And by uncontrollable, I literally mean uncontrollable. Literally, I'd be sitting there, minding my own business, and a tsunami of poop comes out of me. It was just like so many times a day. It'd be probably around 10 times a day. I'd just get uncontrollable diarrhea, so I'd have to wear pull-ups, and yeah, wasn't great. My last main side effect was a loss of appetite. My appetite completely went, but luckily because I had the NG tube, we was able to do feeds through that, so that kept my weight up. As I told you, I hated radiotherapy, and one of the hardest parts for me about radiotherapy was dealing with my anxiety. I had anxiety that my lungs were going to fill up with fluid. It kind of came off the back of getting the NG tube and the fear that the NG tube would go into my lung, and it was scary. And obviously when there's something like that, you can't be logical about it. My mum kept telling me, oh, you'd be coughing all the time if there was fluid in your lungs, but to me, I still felt like I was being breathless, and so that made my radiotherapy experience even worse, just because every day I would go to the doctors at radiotherapy and say, can you please check my lungs, because I'm pretty sure I'm losing my breath here. But it was all psychological, and it was tough. It was so tough trying to fight that mental battle, and also the physical battle of radiotherapy was the hardest bit of my journey, definitely. One of the most surreal and hardest parts about radiotherapy was the doctors telling me about the long-term side effects I'd have to face. The first one being infertility, and that's quite hard for me because, you know, you always dream of this perfect life, having children with your partner and things, but for me that's going to be so much harder because the radiotherapy has scarred my uterus, so I wouldn't be able to physically carry a baby, and my left ovary has been killed by radiotherapy, so I've only got one ovary, and hopefully with that one ovary we can look into egg harvests and things, so I could be able to have my own baby somehow. The second long-term side effect is IBS, which I know it doesn't sound like a big deal, but to me it was at the time, just because I didn't want any problems going on with my bowels, just because one of the main symptoms of my cancer was constipation, and I was just really scared that I'd be getting constipation in remission from the IBS, and it would terrify me every day that the cancer's come back. But luckily the IBS hasn't been too bad. It's mainly just flatulence, discomfort and bloating, and incontinence and frequent pooing. So it hasn't been too bad, but yeah, I'm gonna have to deal with this for the rest of my life. And then the third long-term side effect is secondary cancers. So this is a possibility, of course, but it was so scary to me. The thing that is saving my life could also end my life in, let's say, 20 years time. And to me that was scary, and if I had a choice I wouldn't have done that radiotherapy, but I had no choice. I had to do the radiotherapy, so I've got to deal with the consequences. And yeah, it's hard, it's tough. I didn't want this. I don't want to live in fear in my adult life that I could get cancer again, but I have no control over this and I needed to save my life first. So now let's move on to the tips. So I have some great tips for you guys. The first one being that to care for your burns, I would definitely recommend E45 cream, especially when they're healing. It really helps to moisturize them and speeds up the time of them like scabbing up. Okay, my second tip is a little bit TMI. So if you had the same problem as me where the weeing is painful because of the burns in that area, I recommend pouring water down there when you're weeing. I know it sounds so weird, but it really works. One of the radiotherapy nurses recommended it to me and it helped so much because it was such painful stinging whenever I went for a wee. But then with the water you couldn't even feel it, and it obviously keeps your burns cleaner as well and stops them getting infected from your urine. So it's all good benefits, so definitely do it. Don't be embarrassed, just do it. So as you heard about my lovely stories about my constant uncontrollable diarrhea, so to help with that, if you've got that problem, I would recommend pull-ups or like adult nappies. I don't really know, whichever ones you want to use. Don't feel embarrassed about wearing them, because at the end of the day it's more embarrassing if you poop yourself in your pants for everyone to see than if you poop yourself in your pull-ups. So I definitely recommend them. And also I recommend a medication called Imodium, I'm pretty sure that's what it's called, and it helps stop your poops and like slows them down, just so if you're having a really bad day with your diarrhea, it can help slow them down, so it's just easier for you. Some of my cancer friends also recommend numbing gels. Personally for me they didn't work, but some people they completely numbed their burns. And also I can't remember what they're called, but I recommend these gels that your radiotherapy clinic will give you, and they help dry out your burns, so they help speed the process of like scabbing them up and healing them. Make sure you keep clean because you don't want your burns to get infected or gross, so make sure you keep clean, have a shower or a bath every single day. Make sure you get a lot of rest because it is definitely needed in radiotherapy. Radiotherapy is a battering on your body and it is really tough on your body to take, so please get all the rest that you need, because you need that rest to prepare yourself, to prepare your body for the next radiotherapy session, so you can cope with that one well as well. If you're going through radiotherapy or you're about to go through radiotherapy, please just stay strong and stay positive. It is so tough enduring radiotherapy. For me, it was one of the toughest things to go through in my treatment. Just remember that with every session, there's one less session, and just remember that light at the end of the tunnel, that last radiotherapy session, and that will get you through. I know how physically and mentally draining going into radiotherapy every day can seem, but just remember, don't give up and just soldier on, because you are so much tougher than radiotherapy, and at the end of the day, this is helping your cancer go away. And when I laid there on the radiotherapy table, I just getting radiotherapy, I just thought of my cancer cells being all zapped away by that radiotherapy, and that just made it seem all worth it, just to get the cancer away and stay strong, and that I was defeating the cancer. Thank you so much for watching this, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. For more cancer advice videos, please subscribe and like this video, and also please comment down below if there's any video suggestions, because I'd really appreciate that. Thank you for watching, bye!